Ashland won that battle last year. Entering tonight's game with #1 ranked Roseburg, the Grizzlies had won 5 straight from the Indians. But that streak is over. Roseburg wins in the last second. There's the final. 44-43 Roseburg over Ashland. The #1 ranked Indians avenge last year's loss, and they'll retain their #1 ranking. Moving along now to the PIL. It's a remarkable record, 36 straight PIL victories. This afternoon, Benson tried to add to that mark, traveling to Marshall in a battle of unbeatens. Benson leads 19-0 at the half, but watch Marshall storm back. It all begins on the second half kickoff. Marshall forces the fumble, recovers, and later scores to cut the Benson lead to 19-8, and Marshall is on the move. Later, third quarter, the Minutemen grind it out on the ground. Lloyd Dodak with a huge chunk all the way down to the Benson 5, and that sets up another Marshall touchdown. It's courtesy of Dedeman Williams. He'll sweep the left side. The Benson defense is nowhere to be found. Another 2-point conversion, and Marshall is suddenly within 19-16. But the Techmen hold on. They go to the big play. Caleb Borchers to Corey Murphy. Watch this. 35 yards on the play, and 4th-ranked Benson wins, number 37 in a row, 25-16 over Marshall. Another team to look for in the PIL is Wilson. The Trojans off to a quick start this year, winning their first 2 games, and this afternoon Wilson tried for #3 at Cleveland. Wilson coach Larry Keck has never lost at Cleveland Stadium. In fact, he won his very first game there. But today his Trojans are stunned early. The guy galloping through the Wilson defense is Wilson Peterson. This is good for 15 yards, setting up an early Cleveland score. And it's courtesy of Peterson. And Cleveland is on the board first, leading 6-0. But Wilson has an answer, and it's a quick one. His name is Aaron Olson, and watch him. Once he gets around the corner to the far side, he is gone. Olson rambles 67 yards for the touchdown. The Trojans now 3-0 this year after beating Cleveland the final this afternoon, 47-12. 3 other PIL finals. Madison beat Franklin 18-14. Grant shut out Lincoln 21-0. And Jefferson beat Roosevelt the final 25-6. One of the big matchups tonight was down in Salem. McKay and Corvallis squaring off. Both teams unbeaten heading into tonight's early season showdown. Each week, Jerry Murphy reports on the Valley League, and he joins us again tonight from our bureau in Salem. Hello, Jerry.
Hi, Steve. That game is one we've looked forward to all week long. Corvallis at McKay, as you mentioned, both teams undefeated, each hoping that a win tonight could boost them into the Oregon top 10 rankings. Now let's see what happened. The fans at McKay knew what was at stake tonight, and they were behind their Scots. And McKay's Josh Sanchez got behind the Spartan defense. Sanchez will take the pass from Vince Moisio, and he goes about 20 yards deep into scoring position. From there, it was only a matter of time. Sanchez time. The Scots give it to the halfback around end behind that big offensive line. It's a 12-yard scoring run that puts McKay ahead 19-6. The Scots had trailed 6-0. Corvallis tried to get back in it in the fourth quarter. They are deep into McKay turf after blocking a punt, but they can't block the Scots. The 15-yard loss on the sack drives the Spartans out of scoring range. And the scoring was not yet done for McKay. Nathan Holly takes the handoff and goes right through the heart of Corvallis for a 9-yard touchdown. The capper on a 26-6 win for the Scots.
All of us feel great. All of us feel great. Finally, McKay will be maybe ranked #1 in the state. But we don't know, but we're wishing for it.
So McKay is 3-0 after a big 26-6 win tonight. Our second game tonight takes us to the south of Salem. The Olympians of Sprague hosted the Vikings of North Salem. Both teams came in at 1-1 on the season. We had another big, enthusiastic crowd at Sprague tonight, but it was North Salem that came out smoking. The fire came from Mark Santos. He really rolled up the yardage for the Vikes tonight. Santos takes the pitch and goes about 20 yards deep into Olympian territory. That sets up a scoring run by Santos, carbon copy of the play before. The pitch to Santos, and around the end he goes. He won't stop until he's in the end zone 11 yards later. The Vikings led 7-0. When you've got the big gun, you might as well shoot it, and so North Salem loads up and fires Mark Santos at Sprague once again. This time, Santos outruns the Olympians for 55 yards, showing some nice breakaway speed as he puts the Vikes on top 13-0. Sprague's best chance to score came late in the first half. The Olympians go for it on 4th down, and North Salem puts them down. It ends up a 13-0 shutout for the Vikings. They improved to 2-1 for the season. In other Valley League games tonight, Lebanon finally gets in the win column with a 28-7 triumph over South Albany. The Rebels are 0-3. West Albany is 2-1 after getting past McNary tonight, 14-10 the final. The Celtics are 1-2. And finally, South Salem remains unbeaten by putting the hammer to Crescent Valley tonight, 39-9 the final. The Raiders are 0-3. And so, Steve, we have two unbeaten teams remaining in the Valley, and that is McKay and South Salem, each at 3-0. Those two teams meet on the final day of the regular season at South Salem on November 2nd.
Wow, important date as the way it stands right now.
It's looking like it.
Okay, Jerry, thanks very much. We have much more coming up on Channel 2 Sports Extra. We'll take a look at second-ranked Canby, show you the Battle of Hillsboro, and we'll check in with Ron Carlson for a complete report on tonight's Southwest Washington action. Channel 2 Sports Extra will come back after a quick timeout. Cougars shooting for win number 3 in a row. And tonight we saw why this team is considered to be one of the best in the state. Tom Scott, 33 yards to Ryan Palma, all the way down to Lake Oswego's 27-yard line. And the Cougar machine is already on a roll. Later, David Knapp pounds it in from the 1. Cougars on top at this point, 7-0. They don't let up either. The Canby defense swarmed all over Lake Oswego. Here they sack Matt Mahoney. The Laker offense can't move the ball. So Canby takes over again. Knapp for 13 yards down to the LO 1-yard line. He later scores to make it 14-0 Canby. The Cougars start blowing it wide open. Take a look at R.J. Larios. He is gone. 51 yards in the touchdown. Canby wins impressively at Lake Oswego, 57-0. The Cougars are 3-0 and rolling along in the Three Rivers League. Another team establishing itself as a threat in the Three Rivers is Lake Ridge. The Pacers were down last year, but they have been impressive early this year. Tonight, Lake Ridge shooting for its 3rd straight win playing at Oregon City, a team looking for its 1st win of the year. And what a wild one tonight at Oregon City. Lake Ridge has just taken a 7-3 lead, but watch Oregon City. Chad Ronning hooks up with Jim Woodrum. This play goes 73 yards in the touchdown. The folks at Oregon City are going crazy. Pioneers lead 10-7. But it's not over yet. Lake Ridge to punt, Oregon City, Sean Key to receive, but he fumbles. The ball is loose, and Lake Ridge recovers deep in Oregon City territory. That sets up a Pacers touchdown. It's Cameron Reynolds crossing the goal line. Lake Ridge back on top, 14-10. Pacers try to ice the win down the stretch, so Matt Filkins runs out of the end zone, giving up the safety, cutting the Lake Ridge lead to 14-12. But the play backfires. Oregon City gets the ball back with 27 seconds left. 2 quick passes take the ball down to the Lake Ridge 15-yard line. Now, the first field goal attempt is nullified by a penalty, but Larry Davis doesn't miss the second time around. He drills a 37-yard field goal with no time left on the clock, and Oregon City stuns Lake Ridge 15-14, the final. 2 other Three Rivers scores, Putnam 41, Clackamas 13, and West Lynn 18-14 over Milwaukee. Moving along now to the Metro League. The Battle of Hillsboro tonight, Glencoe and Hillsboro for bragging rights. We'll pick up highlights. 3rd quarter, Glencoe leads 7-0, but Hillsboro comes back thanks to their ace running back, Joey Rector. He breaks loose for 37 yards in the touchdown, but the extra point is no good. Glencoe still leads 7-6. Still 3rd quarter. Glencoe back to punt, but the snap flies away. David Lavier recovers in the end zone. Touchdown Hillsboro. Their 2-point conversion is no good, but the Spartans lead 12-7. Now to the 4th. Glencoe has an answer. Jim Rufiner scores from 4 yards, and Glencoe makes a 2-point conversion to lead 15-12. Less than 6 minutes to go. Hillsboro never gives up. 38 seconds left. Mark Corcoran's pass is complete down to the Glencoe 14-yard line. Hillsboro still with a chance. 21 seconds left. 4th down. Robert Guthrie sets up for a game-tying field goal, but a bad snap and the play blows up. Glencoe beats Hillsboro in a wild one, 15-12, the final. Meanwhile, one of the favorites to win the Metro League is Sunset. The Apollos 2-0 entering tonight's action at home against McMinnville. And you talk about a quick start. First play from scrimmage. Watch Sunset's Keith Macon. Chalk it up, folks. 58 yards and the touchdown. Less than a minute into the game, Sunset explodes on top 7-0. Next Sunset possession, it's Macon again. This effort is worth 16 yards, and it sets up Sunset's 2nd touchdown of the night. And guess who gets the honors? You're right. It's Keith Macon. This time from 6 yards out. The route is underway. Sunset quickly leads 14-0. Next Apollo possession, the man of the night, Keith Macon, does it again. Another 6-yard touchdown run. 3 touchdowns for Macon in the 1st quarter. Sunset moves to 3-0 on the year with a 41-6 win over McMinnville. Checking the other Metro League scores, Beaverton 13-7 over Aloha, Jesuit shut out Forest Grove 14-0, and Tigard blew out Newburgh 38-7. Channel 2 Sports Extra continues now with our weekly Southwest Washington report. That's Ron Carlson's territory, and he joins us tonight with highlights and scores from Southwest Washington. Ron?
Well, thank you, Steve. As you know, the 8th-ranked Battleground Tigers went on the road tonight against the Mountain View Thunder, but it's the Tigers making all the noise in this one. Battleground fans enjoying the Tigers' made-to-order offense tonight. First order, how about a pass? Josh Behrens puts it up, and Steve Warner will haul this one down. It's a 32-yard airmail delivery. Battleground leads it 24-7. But the Tigers have some groundwork to do, too. That means a call for number 29, and he's got the answer. DeJuan Miller, another big night. That run of 11 yards takes it to the 8. And then Miller will finish off the drive with the quick cut, then the blast up the middle that just gets into the end zone. The Tigers maul Mountain View 31-7. Battleground now moves to 2-0. Well, those Kelso Highlanders were also trying to preserve their undefeated season as they go on the road to face those always tough Prairie Falcons. How easy was it for the Falcons to get charged up? It was a bad snap by Kelso. Prairie's Tim Sarvella picks up the loose ball and carts that piggy down to the Kelso 16. But 2 plays later, the Falcons give it right back. Watch the pitch go up into the air. They ought to get a tax deduction for this generosity. The loose ball lands right in David Ritchie's hands, and Kelso is 7 points richer after that 89-yard score. The Falcons put their boots on, though, and march right back into this one. Adam Ahola hits the hole on the left side for the score. Here's looking at you, Prairie fans. Perry stays close, but the Highlanders win it again. Kelso 17, Prairie 14. Around to the rest of Southwest Washington. The Papermakers wrap up an upset tonight by beating Hudson's Bay 21-20. The Chieftains of Columbia River swamp Mark Morris. The Lumberjacks, they get their first win of the year. Washougal wins again, this time, though, in overtime against a tough Forks team. Ridgefield goes to 3-0 with a 35-7 win over Montesano. Tenino stays undefeated with a 24-21 win over Woodland. And one late score that we just received to tell you about, 4th-ranked Castle Rock wins on the road in Rochester by a score of 38-8. Steve?
Okay, Ron, talk to you again next week. More high school football coming up on Channel 2 Sports Extra. Coming up next, Class 3A action. 2nd-ranked St. Helens takes on Rainier. We'll have the highlights and wrap up all the scores next on Channel 2 Sports Extra. Close-up look at 2nd-ranked St. Helens. And the Lions were, so impressive tonight against Rainier. Keep an eye on number 31, Ryan Rittenauer. He's headed for pay dirt here early. Rittenauer from 15 yards out, 7-0 St. Helens. The St. Helens defense totally shuts down Rainier. Number 87, Jason Amato, picks off 2 passes in the first half. And this one sets up St. Helens' 2nd touchdown of the night, and the Lions are in control. Again, it is Rittenauer getting the call. This time he carries it in from 14 yards, and St. Helens is rolling at this point with a 14-0 lead. They lead 21-0 at the half. St. Helens wants to break this one open, and that's exactly what they do. Number 32 is Matt Newcomb. He explodes for 55 yards. There's no catching this guy. Touchdown, Lions. Newcomb rushed for 182 yards tonight. Lions lead 28-0. Still third quarter, St. Helens keeps up the assault. Jared Hogue to Greg Young, 27 yards in the touchdown. 2nd-ranked St. Helens rolls to an easy 40-0 win. The Lions now 3-0 on the year. A lot of action to update you on tonight, so let's take a look at the scoreboard for results of action around the state. Mount Hood Conference. Reynolds beats Central Catholic. Barlow over David Douglas. Centennial now 3-0, beating Park Rose, and Gresham shuts out Sandy. Midwestern, Churchill by 1 over North Eugene. Marshfield beats Springfield. Willamette over Sheldon, and Thurston takes care of South Eugene. Southern, there's the Ashland-Roseburg score for you. South Medford 49-40 over Klamath. Grants Pass beats Mazama. Mountain View over North Medford. Eagle Point takes care of Crater. Intermountain Conference, LeGrand and Pendleton both win tonight, as does Crook County, the final 14-0 over Hermiston. Class 3A, number 1 ranked Hood River rolls over LaSalle. Sherwood beats Astoria in triple overtime. Scappoose and the Dowels pick up victories. Banks beats Estacada. Cascade over Sweet Home. Dallas 30, Woodburn 13. Silverton shuts out North Marion 8-0. Gaston takes care of Nestucca, and Amity 14.